Hello and welcome to another Rockstar adventure. We're back to visit the amazing historical Fairmont Cemetery in the heart of Denver, Colorado. The first largest and second oldest in our beautiful state. Many beautiful monuments lay in this now protected land. We tried to find a few memorials in the humongous mausoleum, but we only got lost and decided to come back after going to the office later for a map. What an amazing building. And it is a maze in here. Just down the way from the mausoleum, we come to pay our respects to James Benton Grant, Sr., Colorado governor, served as a private in the Civil War, became the third governor of Colorado until 1885, advocated for legislation to build the Colorado State Capitol building and improve Colorado trade industries. He didn't seek re-election. Instead, he served on the Denver Board of Education, 1892 to 97, and trustee to the University of Denver, 1884 to 1904. He passed away of heart disease at the age of 63 in 1911. Resting here also with his wife, Mary Adeline, 1853 to 1888, and family, and this beautiful family monument. And around the corner, we come to Elrey Jeppesen, January 28, 1907 to November 26, 1996. Elrey was born in Louisiana to immigrants from Denmark, father Jens Hans, an architect, and a stay-at-home mother, Petria. Buying and running a farm in Oregon and then moving to Portland. Elrey watched eagles fly as a child, so flying became his obsession. In 1921, Elrey was 14 years old when a barnstormer flew over and Jeppesen was able to wave to him for a $4 ride in his Curtiss JN-4 Jenny for a 10-minute flight. In today's price, that would have been $66. At 18 years old in 1925, he joined the Tex Rankin's Flying Circus as a ticket taker, prop turner, wing walker, and aerial acrobat. He soloed after 2 hours and 15 minutes of flying lessons and bought his own Jenny for $500, using money borrowed from his newspaper route customers. He worked there for 2 years, and then in 1928 for Fairchild Aerial Surveys, flying photographers to map Mexico in de Havilland DH-4s, as that same year the government issued its first pilot's license. Elrey had Oregon's 27th license issued, 7034, and signed by the famed airplane inventor Orville Wright, his Mexican pilot license number 33. In 1930, he joined Boeing Air Transport as an airmail pilot. On May 15, 1930, he was the airmail pilot for the flight carrying the first stewardess Ellen Church, Heinrich Kubis, to be the first male flight attendant in 1912. At the time, Elrey became aerial navigation on specific routes. Most pilots at the time relied on dead reckoning, generally using automobile road maps from oil companies and commercial map makers, railroad tracks, and landmarks to find their way. Elrey decided to buy a 10-cent notebook and began taking notes about his routes. He climbed hills to write down the actual heights of hills and collect telephone numbers from farmers for weather reports. Word got around about his little black book, and soon his fellow pilots asked for a copy. Elrey was the first to design en route procedures, let-down procedures, approach procedures, and most importantly, missed approach procedure. Like, if the weather was bad and visibility dropped to zero, the Jeppesen Airway Manual had a missed approach procedure for the particular airport the pilot could use to determine to what holding to turn, how to miss any mountains, and how high to climb. Today, airlines are still using the Jeppesen Airway Manual for navigation. In 1934, there was such a demand for his book, he founded Jeppesen and Company in the basement of his Salt Lake City home to sell his manual for $10. Today, $219. On September 24, 1936, Elrey married his flight attendant Nadine Liscombe. She helped him run his company, working as secretary and treasurer until the company was sold in 1961. On June 10, 1941, Elrey was involved in an airline accident where he landed in a rainstorm. The United DC-3 aircraft overran the landing area, traveling through the airport boundary lights, through the airport into a 3-foot ditch, and the right landing gear failed. No one was injured, but the aircraft sustained major damage. In the 1940s, with the onset of World War II, the U.S. Army and Navy kept Elrey busy, supplying them with his charts. In 1954, Elrey retired and Boeing Air Transport had merged. In 1961, they sold the company and stayed on as chairman. In 1996, Elrey Jeppesen passed away at the age of 89. The Jeppesen Company continues to exist today as a subsidiary of Boeing Commercial Airlines, who acquired the business in October of 2000. A 16-foot statue of Jeppesen by artist George Dundeen was in the center of Denver International Airport and the main terminal named in his honor. Jeppesen to be the first passenger to disembark for the first flight, 1474, from Colorado Springs. The Museum of Flight holds the Jeppesen collection in their archives. A facsimile of the Little Black Book is also on display in the museum's galleries. He was inducted into the Aviation Hall of Fame, Air and Space Hall of Fame, as well as the Hall of Honor, Hall of Fame, and many awards. His wife Nadine became a publisher of the flight maps too. She was born in Iowa. She graduated from nursing school in 1934, then trained as a stewardess in Omaha, Nebraska. She married Mr. Jeppesen and was required to stop flying. Not surprisingly, Elrey had little time for the ladies until he met Nadine on a Boeing 247 he was flying from Chicago to Omaha. He called for coffee, and when she entered, they both were smitten instantly. "I ordered coffee, but got Nadine," Elrey often joked. Nadine to pass June of 1996 at 81 years old, and Elrey in November of the same year. What a beautiful story about this fantastic man, their love story, and history of early flying airplanes. Here for our tribute story, we come to a William C. Bryan. He was born in Zanesville, Ohio, and went in to enter the U.S. Army in 1874 to work as a hospital steward under Brigadier General George Cook. He was attached to the Bighorn Expedition. This unit journeyed to Montana Territory of March 1876. On March 17th, he was riding with Company K, 2nd U.S. Cavalry, when the troop was ordered by Colonel Joseph J. Reynolds to go into battle, at this time the Northern Cheyenne and Lakota Sioux. Upon the opening actions of the battle of Powder River, Bryan's horse was killed underneath him. He continued on foot, saving 2 wounded soldiers to safety, being saved from capture. For his actions, he was awarded the Medal of Honor in 1899. Later to be made rank of captain in 1901, to marry a Miss Lucy B. Wetzel, 1873 to 1945. William C. Bryan passed away in 1933.